Episode 2, The Deuce. So episode 1, what we talked about was a brief introduction, right? It might not have been so brief. It depends on your definition of brief, but it was a brief introduction to myself, what I'm going through, my children, the situation that I'm in, and just kind of how I'm feeling. And it was very, very much brought on by the just the feeling that there's not a lot of help out there. Not help, but there's not a lot of talk and communication and things out there to help the dudes when they start going through the empty nest syndrome, when the kids start to head out and it's just you, or it's just you and your significant other. There wasn't a lot. I looked around and it's a lot of women, and women are great. We're different. We handle things differently. We compartmentalize things differently, and we deal with them differently. So I wanted to do this, and here we are. So like I said, episode 2. I wanted to start with one of my kids, and I decided to do my son. We're gonna start with him. He is the younger of the two. He's 17 years old. He is graduating high school in about 2.5 months. So somewhere in there. He actually just picked up his cap and gown today at school. So I'm super proud of him for that. He's never been a star student. Very smart kid, really smart kid, good kid. He's a great kid, very intelligent. Hates school, bored with it, never dug it, never meant anything to him. So he's really just trying to get through with it. I think I mentioned last time, he is graduating a year early, so he can essentially just be done and not have to go back. After he graduates, he'll have 2, maybe 3 weeks at the most before he goes off to boot camp for the Marines. He will be going to Paris Island. I couldn't think of the name of it in episode 1. It's Paris Island in South Carolina. That's where he's going for boot camp. He'll be there for 13 weeks, and that's his decision. That's where we're at. So dealing with that, like I said, he got his cap and gown. He is graduating a year early. Can't argue with that. And then he's going to go to boot camp. And originally what we had talked about, he wasn't sure if he was going to go to boot camp in July or August, is what he was telling me. And then all of a sudden, we were having a conversation last week, and it was like, hey man, you got till July or August. And he said, no, I'm going June 17th. He knows when he's leaving. He didn't even tell me. Right? We decided on a date, and the kid just went, Dad doesn't need to know. So that's I've been trying to compute that in the old noggin, whether that's just him or that's Dad doesn't need to know, and I'm not going to tell him, and I don't care. There's a play going on here. Most of the things that happen, I can see where it might be one way, but there's that other half of my brain that says, maybe it's me. Maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing. We've always been close, not as close as we used to be when he was younger. And by younger, I mean up until he was like 14. He would talk about anything and everything with me. We hung out, we did a lot. I coached him in sports, like I said. Teenage years came around, got a little bit distant. We're still there. I still love him. He still loves me, I believe. I hope. Maybe one day he'll tell me different. But we're not as close as we were back then. And I think that's normal. I feel like that's a normal, pattern of life when the young men get to be 15, 16, 17 years old, and they want to go out on their own, and they want to prove that they can do it on their own, and they want be their own man, right? I gotta be my own man, and I'm gonna do that. And so I think that's kind of what it is. part of me takes it a little personally, though. I'm just going to be honest with you. So he didn't tell me he was leaving June 17th, which is 4 months and 2 days from now. Today is March 14th. Is that right? I think I did that right. So it's March 14th. So he's got a little over 3 months before he leaves. And so then we were talking about, if you're given an opportunity, my understanding, could be totally wrong, he gets a choice. Everybody can't choose, but he gets a decision of some sort of where he would like to be stationed, what base he would like to go to. There's a there's a base here, a couple hours away. There's a couple bases. There's bases out on the East Coast, there's bases out on the West Coast, there's bases in Hawaii. I'd like to go to Hawaii. He told me what he wants to do. He wants to go to Japan. Like the whole other side of the world. So, I've looked at this a lot of different ways. I've been trying to play this out and trying to figure out what the deal is. Because that's what I do. I figure things out in my head and I just play through it, and there's a lot of anyway. There's multiple possibilities. Right? Multiple possibilities. One, he wants to travel. He wants to see the world. This is his opportunity. I mean, that's cool. I dig it. He's going to be a Marine. I fully support that. He wants to get away from where he is. Maybe he's in a rut. I think he's in a bit of a rut. So maybe he wants to get away from all that as far away as he can. That's cool too, man. I understand. But there is a possibility, and this is what goes on in my mind as his father, who loves him dearly. He's graduating early, which means he's joining the Marines right away, which means he's trying to get away as quick as possible. And then he's choosing to go to the other side of the world, which is as far away as he can get. So is it that he's trying to get away from me? Is he trying to get away from us, his family, my wife and I? Is he trying to get away from us? Is he trying to get as far away from us as he can, as quick as he can? And I don't know if there's any truth to that. I probably will never know if there's any truth to that. But it's in my head. And when that thought enters my head, I'll be honest, it's hard not to, it hurts a little bit. That hurts a little. That thought hurts a little bit. It's hard not to take that a little personally. I hope that's not the case. If it is, then, it doesn't change anything in what's coming in my future and his future. As his father, you gotta let him go. He's 17 years old. He's graduating high school. He's got a path. He's got a journey he wants to partake. I don't hate it. Nothing against the Marines. Very noble thing to do. I admire him for it. I think it's great. It could be a wonderful thing. It could be the best thing he ever does. I also see there's possibilities that it's the worst thing he ever does. I hope it doesn't work out that way. And that's my wife. She's just looking at that positive, because she can't look at that negative possibility, right? Or fighting, possibly getting injured, maimed, killed. She refuses to look at that. She wants to just see the positives, that he's going to mature, he's going to grow up, he's going to have a profession, he's going to have people teaching him or telling him what to do, when to do it, how to do it, so he doesn't have to think about it. And it's going to help him to grow up, mature, and develop. Those are all true possibilities. I'm a little bit more realistic, and I see the yin and the yang, the ebb and the flow, the good and the bad. So there's possibilities for good and there's possibilities for bad. We hope for the best. You gotta let him go. If you don't, then he's just gonna resent you for it, So even if I didn't let him go, I can hold him back until he's 18 and that's going to be, what, 4 or 5 months, and then he can go on his own. So what do you do? Like I said, it hurts a little bit to think that my son wants to get away from me fast, and he wants to go very, very, very far away. But what do you do? Anyway, I don't know what else to go with that. That's the story on my son. That's where we're at. He's going to graduate. He's going to join the Marines. He's going to go to Paris Island. Almost forgot again. Paris Island. He's going to do 13 weeks there. He's going to come home for 10 days, and then he's going to go. What he wants to do is the crash fire rescue, which is their version of a firefighter in the Marines. So it's cool. Give him a great career. You know, a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibilities there. So I see the positives. I don't know why he has to go to Japan for it, but that's what he wants to do. It's his life. And ultimately, we are all on our journeys. We are all on our own journeys, and we have to go where we believe that journey is taking us. If we allow ourselves to differentiate or divert from the path that we think we should take, then we're going to regret it. And we might just regret the people that we blame for it. So I don't want to be one of those people for my son, and I don't, you know, I love him. He's going to do fine no matter what he does. So that's it. That is the deuce. That is the second episode. I think in the next one we'll go over my daughter, who is the older of the two, which I'm kind of doing this out of order, but he's the one who's kind of quickly, vastly approaching and things changing. So I want to talk about that. So, again, this is just an attempt to open things up. Maybe there's some dudes out there that are struggling with the kids leaving. I am. I say it. I am. We as men we deal with things differently than women. We are different than women. So what we do, most of us, we're taught we got to be big, we got to be strong, we got to keep our feelings inside. And I agree with that to an extent, but I also believe that you can share how you feel, right? I'm a middle-aged man. I'm 45 years old. I'm not afraid to share how I feel. As long as I can control those feelings, and as long as I don't become a basket case and let those feelings control me, then I feel like there's no shame in that. Ain't no shame in my game, right? So if you're out there, if you're watching this, if you want to talk about it, if you have ideas for me, hey man, I'm listening. I could use them. I really could. So adios. That's the deuce. I'll see you on the third one.